Hi. If someone told you you could buy your way into heaven, most people would say that that is stupid and you can't do that. Call me Martin Luther when she nails my 99 theses to the door. She start my Protestant revolution. I don't know. That's a history joke for all you history lovers out there, or Lutherans. Prosperity preachers are probably one of the most obvious scams that is like normalized in modern society, but somehow they still make millions and millions of dollars. I'm talking about people like Joel Osteen, Kenneth Copeland, and today's special boy, Jesse Duplantis, which I thought was a fake name. Duplantis. It doesn't sound real. And by the way, thank you to my friend Andy King, who sent me a couple of clips of Jesse Duplantis that got me started on making this video. Thank you, little tiny Andy. Thank you. The prosperity gospel grift is to offer generic self-help advice with heavy evangelical messaging and equate giving money to them to giving money to God. Classic move. What does he need it for? How much is his rent? And technically, because these megachurches are religious institutions, that means they're exempt from taxes and can use the money that's donated to them kind of however they want. So naturally, they use the Lord's tithing on private jets and gigantic homes and watches worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. God gave him that ice, dude. You're gonna take that away? So the reason I want to talk specifically about Jesse Duplantis over any of the other prosperity gospel preachers is not just because he went to heaven. He saw it. We'll talk about that later. But it's also because he is probably the most obvious example of a megachurch pastor just flexing on his congregation.
Get all kind of crazy, let people fight. You'll have jewelry cost more in your house.
What was the beginning of that?
Yeah, I'm hesitating to say, I don't want to say, I'm going to get all kind of crazy, let people fight.
Dude, it's like gibberish when he talks.
Well, I'm telling you, listen to me. I'm telling you. My first house cost $14,700. I'm giving you a chance to write your check out.
So his first house cost $14,000. To give you an idea of how ancient this person is, like, I want to emphasize, it's impossible to buy a house for $14,000 now. Like, Jesse Duplantis comes from a different universe. A big part of prosperity gospel and prosperity preaching is to emphasize that the more you give to the church, the more God gives back to you. God is a transactional figure. He loves getting stuff. He likes money.
Are you going to write me an ugly letter? Let me tell you what, no.
Dude, he laughs like a creature. What is this? A lot of the times after Jesse Duplantis brags about something, he often will say, and I don't mean that pridefully, I'm not bragging about it, but let me tell you how much this ring costs. Jesus gave me this. Like, what's the point of saying this? Of course it's prideful. You literally just said, I have a watch on my wrist that costs more than my second house, and this ring would really make you mad with how much it costs. Like, who is listening to this?
$14,700. See that go? See on them shoes? Get a shot of this, boys. Get close. Come on, man. Look, I paid a fortune for them things. Suck in there, man. See that go? Some of y'all got that in your teeth. Okay. Gold is very, very expensive.
Hey guys, check it out. I have gold in my shoes, and gold is very expensive. So that's going to do it for today. Jesse Duplantis spent about $1,200 on these Giuseppe Zanotti sneakers that apparently have real gold in them. And he starts the clip by talking about how in heaven you walk on gold, but now I have gold on my shoes, you see. And there's a connection there. I'm not going to tell you, but there is.
You walk on gold. It looks like this. See that gold? See
it looks like that?
See that go? Some of y'all got that in your teeth.
I don't even know what he meant by that. Some of you have this in your teeth, but this is on my shoes. Something about that is like, damn, he kind of roasted them. Yeah, the shit that you put in your teeth that you need to have teeth, I got that in my shoes. I walk on that, on the dirty ground. Put this in your teeth. Giuseppe Zanotti. They look like Kirklands. I literally thought he had Kirklands on.
Like this. Let go.
God, he is really just flexing on him. He's just sitting there and being like, look at my shoes. Just look at my shoes. They have gold in them. And that gold is in your teeth. And I wipe my fucking feet on your gold teeth because I have gold on my shoe. I can't find the exact sneaker that he has. Like, I thought they were just like generic sneakers, but they're $1,200 luxury Italian brand sneakers. Why would you ever need those? Like, I'm not the kind of person to pocket watch or anything, but like, I just don't think like a religious guy, like a guy who has devoted his life to God apparently, really needs that. Really doesn't need that. He doesn't.
But I don't carry a wallet. I carry one of these things. Jerry Savelle taught me to just go Louis Vuitton. I got Louis Vuitton underwear. I got all kinds of stuff.
What? Does a man of God need Louis Vuitton underwear? I just think that's too expensive. Okay, Louis Vuitton underwear is only like $50, I think, but it doesn't matter. The pocket organizer wallet thing he has is $400. Just get a wallet for all the money you're stealing from people.
Oh, people will get mad when I do that. This is a Snoopy, and that's an Omega. This here was the Apollo 13. It's a very expensive watch. 007 wear Omega.
When you crash, but you voted for Biden? Oh, so you're saying like when people vote for Biden, they're gay. So when you get in a car crash, your handbrake that is already up while you're driving, you would ride it like a penis if you voted for Biden, only if you did that. But this guy didn't vote for Biden, but he did it anyway just to show you what you do. Not him. He would never do anything like that. We're off topic, okay? We need to get back to Jesse Duplantis.
I walked into Neiman Marcus and I see this beautiful peacock by Jay Strongwater. Oh, it's got 13,000 Austrian crystals on it. And there's this other female peacock. I said, who is she? That's his girlfriend. He said, well, it sells for $29,000 with tax. I said, how much is this girlfriend? And he said, I think it was $7,000 or $8,000. No, $37,000 with tax for both of them. So I paid him. $34,000 plus tax, be $37,000. He said, okay, well, we'll ship it to you. I said, you don't need to ship it to me. I have my own plane. Well, you have your own plane? I said, yes, sir. I got a van downstairs. Put it in a box, and I'm taking it out of here. It will be in my white ballroom in my house by 3:30 this afternoon.
This is one of the less intelligible clips of Jesse Duplantis.
I see this beautiful cock.
But it's one of the most obvious in pointing out what is essentially embezzlement. Not only did he buy one ornate metal jewel encrusted peacock, he bought two and was so impatient that he needed to spend the money and resources it took to get these awkward giant metal peacocks in his big giant ballroom in his house, his ballroom, of course, as we all have in our house, the same day. He needs it there the same day. Like, not only are you wasting money given to you in good faith, literally, on a metal peacock to decorate your ballroom that you built with that same money, but you then turn around only to like talk about it to these people. It's the easiest thing in the world to do to get rich by talking about being rich. You just have to be born in a time where you can buy a house for fucking $2 and then lie your whole life. I would like a donation, please, and in exchange, I will tell you how awesome my house is. It's like how in the 1800s, people could just sell you liquid. Like, they called it snake oil, but it could have been anything. Prosperity gospel preachers are pretty well known, and a lot of the people in the TikTok comments and the general consensus around them is that it's crazy that they even have congregations to preach to in the first place when they're so transparently abusing their power and wealth. But this kind of prosperity preaching has been around for the better part of 50 years? More? I don't know. Jesse Duplantis himself has been doing it since the early 80s. So do these people know? Are they aware? Are they like looking past it because they really think he's gonna save them? I don't think this guy is gonna save you. I'll be real. Especially after you're dead. What is this guy gonna do? Despite constantly flaunting how much he spends on himself, Jesse Duplantis is not above asking God for a new private jet that he needs. Which just, of course, means asking his followers to give him one.
I honestly believe this, that the reason why Jesus hadn't come is because people are not giving the way God told them to give. You see what I'm saying? Wow. I mean, when you understand it, you can speed up the time.
You can speed up the time to Jesus's return by giving him money, by donating more to the church. Crazy! How could anyone believe that? And it's a room full of these fuckers.
If people would call this number and put this victory all over the world on every available voice, every available outlet, God, the Father, he would say, Jesus, go get him. Yeah. Because you see, he wants to see us as much as we want to see him. You know, he's called us to do that. So I don't have a problem with giving. I don't have a problem with receiving. It doesn't make any difference. Because I just made up my mind. I want Jesus to come.
Yeah, whether I give or receive, I just want Jesus to come. Very interesting coming from Jesse, who, what does he give? He will brag, of course, while saying, well, not in a bragging way, about doing hurricane relief, but that's only so much when you're still taking money from communities and hoarding it.
A Louisiana televangelist is asking his followers for donations to buy a $54 million private jet.
We want that 7X. We're believing God for it.
In a video posted to his website last week, televangelist Jesse Duplantis says God told him he needs the new Falcon 7X jet.
That if Jesus was physically on the earth today, he wouldn't be riding a donkey. Think about that for a minute. He'd be in an airplane preaching the gospel all over the world.
Okay, but he doesn't just use the jet to preach the gospel. He also uses it to go to the Kentucky Derby.
Because that plane was worth every nickel and dime. And when people see it, they freak out, man. They go, look at this plane. I flew it to the Kentucky Derby. You ought to see people. They're going, look at that plane. I wanted to see them horses run. I did.
Yep, that's what they do there. I'm so glad that people have given millions and millions of dollars to a grown man with the reasoning and motivations of an 8-year-old, but like a malicious 8-year-old. I wanted to see those horses run.
And these horses are worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I was at the very top level. I was talking to the president's wife of Churchill Downs, and I didn't even know it.
Again, I have no idea why he's telling these people this. He really does give me like boomer ADHD vibes, and he can't like ever stay on track, so he ends up just like telling on himself every time he goes in front of his congregation. I'm sure listening to him live is crazy.
Father, we thank you so.
And this past January, Texas-based televangelist Kenneth Copeland announced the blessing of a new multi-million-dollar Gulfstream 5. Copeland and Duplantis both defended using private jets in 2015.
The world is in such a shape, we can't get there without this.
Sunday morning, I was in Boston, Massachusetts. Monday, I was in New Orleans. Tuesday, I was in Chicago.
I have to go all over the country and ask people for money all over the country. How can I do that fast and fun for me without a private jet? I also think it's really funny that around the same time Kenneth Copeland gets a new jet, for some reason, Jesse Duplantis wants a new jet too. By the way, Jesse Duplantis' ministry had already had 3 jets up until this point. The 4th one was just so he can go anywhere in the world in one stop, which is ridiculous. Why don't you pray for more gas? And yeah, if you look at his website, he does travel every few days to a new state to talk about how much he needs money for more watches and Louis Vuitton wallets. Like, his argument to be anywhere in the world in one stop might make a little bit of sense if he almost exclusively wasn't going to places in the United States and also wasn't obviously enriching himself with the money that he makes doing this. He bought the fucking $35,000 peacocks. Come on, man.
My dream has now come to pass. I've been believing it long. Ladies and gentlemen, I now own a Falcon 7X. It's mine. Or if you go on TikTok, they eating my lunch. TikTok, talk your tick. I don't care. Well, I heard you have a Falcon 900 too. Yes. You mean you got 2 jets? You got 2 cars? You have 2 cars?
No, I have 1 car. A lot of people have 1 car. Some people have no car. Jesse?
Look at me. Why do you have 2 cars? Because your wife wants one. Delta wish they could fly me. Because when I quit flying Delta, they lost a ton of money.
Huh? You have 2 jets because your wife wants one too. So it's a sin to love your wife now. It's a sin to get a jet for your wife now. The Bible says love your wife, and he loves his whole wife a jet worth. My wife doesn't have a jet. I don't even have a wife. But if I did, she would have 1 less jet than Mrs. Duplantis. How about Mrs. Duplantis? What do we think about that one? Because she has her own plane. It's wild that these guys have had so much coverage from mainstream news outlets to dozens of videos on the internet very clearly explaining what they do wrong. They're not operating under a cover. It's just common knowledge that they steal and embezzle money and nothing is ever done about it. But their followers are as devout as they can be because the more money they give, the faster Jesus comes.
Delta wish they could me.
So as I mentioned earlier, Jesse Duplantis has been to heaven. God sucked him through the roof of a Best Western hotel and brought him to heaven. I'm not joking. And you know he's telling the truth because he remembers all of this.
In 1988 at the Best Western Hotel, and I was supposed to eat lunch with the pastor.
And what room were you in?
Room 105.
This is how you know he remembers every detail.
I have been back.
He remembers every detail, guys. He ate at the Sizzler.
Meet me across the street was like a little steak, like a Western Sizzler.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Was it Sizzler? In the beginning of this video, everyone's talking about how heaven is a real place that you go where you see all your dead relatives. And I don't know, it's really sad.
I have a lot of people in heaven. So I'm excited to hear this, even though I've heard it before.
Who are you excited to see
I
again?
can't wait to see my dad again.
Me too.
Who do you look forward to seeing again?
My grandmother, I'm named after her. My dad. So many people have gone on to be with the Lord.
And I'm not trying to sound super spiritual, but honestly, I really can't wait to see Jesus.
Guys, I know we're all talking about how we're all going to see our dead loved ones in heaven and how heaven is definitely real, but I don't want to sound spiritual right now. I kind of hope Jesus is there too. God, Jesse Duplantis looks like such a little creature in this video.
So do you want to know what heaven's like? Jesse Duplantis reveals the life-changing experience he had when God took him on a journey to heaven.
Do you want to know what heaven is like? He looks like such a little gremlin in this chair. See, now he's got his Kirklands on. What happened to your shoes, Jesse? Where's your drip? So in 1988, Jesse had just gotten back to his Best Western hotel room after abruptly leaving a dinner at the local Sizzler. And he left because he felt a calling to go back to his hotel room. And you know it's true because he remembers the room number. That means it's true. So Jesse gets sucked out of his room and is put on like an enclosed ski lift kind of thing, and he meets a blonde-haired angel that he's encountered before. I don't know. You tell me what he says.
And I look, and the guy turned around, and it was the blonde-headed angel that I had met about them dogs. I went, hey, how you doing? He goes, how you doing? He said, you have an appointment with the Most High God.
So the blonde-haired angel takes him to heaven and keeps telling him, you have an appointment with the Most High God. He says it like 4 times.
And he goes, are you thirsty? I said, yeah. And he said, you have an appointment with the Most High God. I thought, I didn't want to step on him, you know what I'm saying? He said, you have an appointment with the Most High God.
He says he met Jesus in heaven. He was there hanging out, and his hair was light brown, which doesn't tell us much, but whatever.
I hear these kids screaming, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. And it was Jesus. And Jesus is about 5'11" to 6'1". I thought his hair was like mine, white, you know? But when he turned his head, it was light brown. Cindy, kind of like your light brown right here.
It's funny because Jesse Duplantis seems to always remember like what a person's hair looks like. He describes all of the people and angels in heaven as old but young.
Everybody is young, yet they look like they look of great age, but not old.
Whatever. It's like if you can't decide if they're supposed to be one or the other, they're both. He listens to Jesus talk and asks a question that actually embarrasses him.
And I asked the stupidest question anyone could ever ask in heaven. I'm still embarrassed about it. I'm on the ground. You can't stand up. Man, people are just knocked out in the Holy Ghost. I'm just knocked out. But Jesus can't stay away from the Father very long anymore.
But before he says what it is, he goes on a really bizarre tangent about the hand of God coming out and smashing a bunch of angels against a wall with his force power. I don't know.
I saw the Father's hand. As I'm like this. It's blinding. This is power. And he did this. And when he did this, watch my finger. I don't know if you can get a shot of that. Boom, he knocked them angels up against that wall. And those angels circling that throne said, holy, 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 the great God Jehovah.
Then he asks Jesus where the Holy Spirit is, and Jesus tells him he's on earth, which, duh, obviously. Everyone should know that. Then he meets Jonah and asks him, hey, what's it like to live in that fish?
I talked to Jonah. He's a nice guy. I said, can I ask you a question? He said, yeah. I said, how does it feel to be in that fish? I was interested in the fish. You know? How you going to live in a fish 3 days?
It's just references to things you know about the Bible. He sees King David.
And I met King David. He's the only other one I saw with a crown other than Jesus. He's got kind of like a reddish beard. Not like Jews where it's real long, very cleanly cut.
He sees Abraham. He had long hair. Jesus. Not his own relatives, though. God didn't let him see those, even though he wanted to.
I don't know why I wasn't allowed to see my mom and my grandparents. Maybe it made me sad. I don't know. You know, that's speculation, so I don't want to speculate.
Maybe they're not there. Then Jesse is transported to his own home, even though he's staying in a Best Western, the one he got sucked out of to go to heaven. And Jesus is also in his home with him, so he can show him the piece of furniture that he made for him, that Jesus Christ made for Jesse Duplantis. He made him a piece of furniture because he's a carpenter, remember, from the Bible? It's like new Star Wars logic of like, whoa, dude, Jesus is doing his classic carpentry. I've been waiting 4 seasons to see him do it again. That's a reference that I know.
The Lord brought me to my home. I have a beautiful home. I love foyers. A foyer to me sets the temper of a home. He said, Jesse, I made a wonderful piece of furniture for you.
Jesse doesn't disclose what furniture it is. He just says it was furniture. Maybe he means multiple. There's 2. He made him so much stuff he can't go over it all right now.
Jesus is a carpenter. There's a reason for that. See, and he put that. And I went in my own house.
He's a carpenter, you know. There's a reason for that. So he can make my bedside table.
And then he told that angel, take Jesse home by the way of the mountains. He likes mountains. Anyway, to make a long story short.
And Jesus likes mountains. Is that a Bible reference that I don't get? Jesus and his classic mountain? You know, the Sermon on the Mount. He loves mountains. Instead of like coming up with a conclusion for this insane story about going to heaven, Jesse starts saying that they're running out of time, even though he is talking about heaven as a real place he has been to. You can make time to tell the world about that. That's huge, actually.
Listen, not that I'm better. I have been there. Listen to me. I know it.
Oh my God, dude, he gets so upset. Listen to me. I've been there. And I saw everyone's hair, and I can remember every color it was.
I'm telling you, I'm not trying to build a ministry. I don't care about any of that. I've been there. I know it.
He also says he's not trying to build a ministry. Yes, you are. You can't just say that you aren't doing something that you are doing. Guys, I'm really trying not to make a YouTube video about this right now, okay? Can we all just respect that? I've been there to the Best Western. I remember the room number and what color the guy's hair was who helped me check in. It was brown. Jesse Duplantis has also seen 30-foot tall angels in heaven. I think they should just put him in a home. Jesse Duplantis is actually friends with Kenneth Copeland, who's a much more notorious prosperity gospel pastor, famous for trying to blow away COVID with the wind of God.
COVID-19!
COVID-19!
I blow the wind of God.
The wind of God.
On you.
I think it's safe to say that it didn't work. And some people have asked me to make a video about Kenneth Copeland in the past, but honestly, it's just too much. Kenneth Copeland is a real demon. I don't believe in demons or ghosts or anything, but if anyone in the world in like the public eye was actually possessed by a demon, I think it would be him.
That's the cutting of the covenant. And then I would do the same.
Jesus said, take this cup. This is my blood of the new covenant.
Now we've mixed our blood.
That's right.
Yes,
Now his blood is in my body.
yes, sir.
It's in there. His blood is mixed with my blood.
I think it would actually be him. Jesse Duplantis can be scary and weird, but nothing compared to Kenneth Copeland.
He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it.
They actually made a video together about how to take on the responsibility of receiving. Homoerotic euphemism aside, they are actually talking about how to allow yourself to let God's plan happen to you, which is really funny coming from 2 men whose entire job it is to spiritually extort money from the elderly. Jesse knows how to receive, all right.
Now, we're giving away food, blessing people, money, helping people, not bragging on that, just wanting to be a blessing.
And you'd think a sense of self-awareness would keep them from bragging about their planes while talking about how important it is to give to the needy, but after talking about how much good they did for hurricane relief a few years before this video was filmed, they just start talking about how they deserve their planes and how much they love them.
I'll never forget what you said. Red Coat was kind of funny. He said, Jesse, this is your plane. If you don't buy this plane, I'm going to buy this plane. I said, I ain't letting you buy my plane. It's my plane. Turned out to be Harvey Firestone's plane. Yeah. And you know that plane today? I flew it for 9 years.
Awesome. All throughout this video, Kenneth Copeland keeps pointing directly at Jesse Duplantis, even though they're sitting like 2 feet away from each other. How much do you like your plane? My plane's awesome.
I told God,
the Spirit of the Lord came to me on a broadcast some years ago, and he said, I'm raising up 1 million partners for you be the biggest Holy Ghost gang on the earth. I want you to believe for them now.
Wait, does Kenneth Copeland call his followers the Holy Ghost Gang? I'm pissed that I didn't think of that. God, watching these two together is genuinely a scary experience.
Jesse, my eyes is, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, I got so excited.
Listen, everyone knows that these guys are out there. They're taking people's money. They're giving people false hope, and it's really gross. Unfortunately, one YouTube video isn't going to fix that. I could talk about these guys all I want all day. Doesn't solve a problem, but at least I can make jokes about it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. If you want to check out my Patreon, it's just $5 a month. And actually, the more patrons we have, the sooner Jesus returns. So just keep an eye out for that. Make sure to press like if you had a good time, or subscribe for more videos just like this every week. And double check your closet tonight to make sure that Jesse Duplantis isn't hiding in there. Bye.